Hello everyone, Jeff from RespawnStudios.com back with part 9 of my Dragon's Dogma walkthrough. Alright, so this should be a fun one. We're finally going to arrive at the fort that we spent so much time working our way toward in part 8. I was still quite excited I could finally afford a two-handed sword and I didn't have to just run around and run away from enemies as my allies did everything. So, in one of the previous videos I was talking about there didn't seem to be many combos. There do seem to be some combos with light attacks, but definitely no strong attack combos. And you can't seem to string light attacks into a heavy attack. There I'm attacking a rock. I kept trying to jump up to that guy, and I finally just gave up and tried to swing, and I was not up there, so I look like an idiot. And again, with groups of enemies like this, usually they're fairly weak, but still be on your guard. The archers can do a decent amount of damage sometimes, and especially if there's a wizard or two, their spells do a lot of damage. So try and take them out first, the range guys, and then worry about the melee guys. So basically the complete opposite of what I'm doing here. The archers are usually weaker too. They have less armor, so they can move quicker, so they go down faster than the heavily armored infantry. I will say one of the things I'm really liking with this game so far is the quality of your AI partners. Usually it's like dirt dumb. They're really, really bad. But in this game it's pretty good. They help a lot. They know when to heal. In a part coming up that I've had to film like 100 times so far because I keep dying because it's insane. You'll see my allies go down all the time and I die often trying to get over to revive them. But for 99% of the game they've been very good thus far. Here I'm checking back to the map to make sure I'm on the right path toward the fort. And one of your allies makes a comment here. These open areas are like a double-edged sword. We could see all the enemies, but they could also see us. That's not necessarily true. Unless you get fairly close to the enemies, like in this case here, they don't react to you, and you'll be fine. If you find these guys, and you're around my level or a little lower for your character, you might not want to fight them. They do have a decent amount of health and do a good amount of damage. The key is to try and co-op fight them or knock them down and get to their tails. Because if you cut off their tails, they basically are already dead. You have to hit them like once and they'll already be on the ground. Otherwise, they're a pretty tough fight. And that's the other good thing with your AI. They make a lot of useful comments about what to do for a quest or how to effectively find the weak point or hit it on an enemy. So that's very nice. If you remember the giant red dragon, I don't know how you could forget, maybe you haven't watched the earlier videos, but that giant red dragon, it looks like I run into it. It's like walking around the wilderness across the waterway here. So you'll see me like walking very slowly, like freaking out because it's like blocking the way forward a bit. So I wasn't sure how close I could get to it. I'm pretty sure it's not that dragon. I don't think they'd have like what I would assume would be the final boss of this game, just walking around the area. Maybe you just like damage it and it runs away, but I assume it's just another dragon. But I haven't encountered any other dragons yet, so I don't know. Maybe it's like Skyrim, that they were gone for a while, but now more than one is back. And on the Xbox 360, I think the graphics have been all over the place in different games. Some look incredibly bad, some look incredibly good, and a lot of them look pretty good. This game is one of those pretty good games, but it's it's better than most pretty good games. It's definitely not great. It's not going to like wow you with graphics, but it feels like a next gen game, a game that deserves to be on 360, so I like that. If you've ever played a game like Two Worlds, which one of the initial promotional quotes for it is that it's an Oblivion killer, the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, one of the best RPGs ever made by Bethesda, the guys that then did Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim, obviously. But Two Worlds was promoted as being an Oblivion killer. And if you've ever played Two Worlds, you probably like peed your pants with laughter because Two Worlds looks like a horrible PS1 game. And the voice acting is like, it has to be a joke. I don't think they took themselves seriously because they say some really stupid things and it just, you laugh at the game. And then, well, I guess I won't give the end of the game because I'm sure all of you are now dying to play Two Worlds. I'll just say it has an appropriate ending for what kind of game it is. My friend Gino, who's ordered his capture card, and he should be putting out a lot of videos within the next week. He actually swears he likes Two Worlds 2. The graphics are certainly better in Two Worlds 2, but like the menus and the text, even on a standard TV or an HD TV, they go way off the screen, so you can't even like read them. And it's very frustrating, like the minimap and things. So to me, it was not even really playable. It does have a short co-op multiplayer campaign, which is kind of fun, because anything co-op is kind of fun to me if you get to play with your friends. But the Two World series is just awful. I do recommend playing them, though. They're something you'll never forget. And they have fairly easy achievements, so they're good for someone like me, too. But they're not a high-quality game like Skyrim or L.A. Noire, Alan Wake, and things like that. I can go on a rant about Alan Wake, which is my all-time favorite game, and how a lot of people didn't buy it and some people didn't like it. But we'll save that. We'll get back to Dragon's Dogma. All right. So I try and sprint as much as I can, which is click down left thumbstick, and it uses that stamina bar, the red one under health, which we've talked about before. But it does run out fairly quickly, I guess. Once you get used to it, it doesn't seem to go as much as you'd like it to. And try your best to always stop it before it fully goes down, because then you're doubled over panting and you can't do anything for like 5 seconds and you could still be hit. So be very careful with that. If you're sprinting toward enemies and you stop doubled over, they could still kill you. So try and stop sprinting, and you just let go of the thumbstick. You don't stop clicking it down and you'll stop. And then it regenerates pretty quickly if you do it that way as well. One of the little annoying things, it's not really that bad, but it's kind of annoying at the same time. When you knock certain enemies to the ground, you would think they're dead because their health bar has disappeared, but they're still alive. And your character is just like looking toward another enemy, so that health bar is displayed. And you don't know that that person on the ground still has health, so they get back up and can attack you, when otherwise you could have finished them off if they were on the ground. So it gets annoying a little bit. I don't know if this... Oh, wait, this is the second time that they pushed rocks at us. The first time I ran away, that time you could just move to the side and it's no danger. Oh, I think we're coming up to the dragon. Checking the map again to see. So we're pretty close to the fort now. Yeah, the dragon's over here to the right, I believe. Yeah, there he is. That does not look like it would be a fun battle. And if you die, you have no chance to be revived. It just ends and you have to reload the last checkpoint, which is the last time you saved. It's not often an autosave, which can be very frustrating. It's why I stopped playing and why Part 10 probably won't be out until tomorrow. There's a big battle in the fort. I guess I'll give you a mini spoiler alert, where I kept dying. It's really crazy. there are these two giant like fire catapult turrets, or maybe they're just flame archers that you can't possibly see or attack, and they shoot these giant like flaming arrows or catapult bolts at you from like anywhere, and they do tons of damage and knock you to the ground where they could hit you again or another enemy can hit you. And then on the ground there's like 25 goblins or hobgoblins, some of the bigger ones, and also 2 cyclops. So it's a crazy battle. And you can barely damage the cyclops at all. You have to keep trying to climb it and get to its head to get some big blows to knock off a helmet, or like pull out the horns is one of the attacks, I guess, to do a lot of damage. And it's just hard because when you're climbing a cyclops, they can shake you off, or when you think you're close enough to do one of the special attacks, it doesn't, or you could be shot by one of the flaming arrows. It's very hard, and it's just frustrating. I died like 6 times in a row. I kept hitting record and I kept having to stop because I kept dying. I didn't want to show you me going to retry and doing the same 5 minutes over and over and over. So I'll try and get through that part tomorrow. And throughout this whole battle with the goblins, I was worried it was going to activate the dragon. He was also going to be aggroed toward me, but he wasn't, so that was pretty good. Alright, and now we're getting very close to the fort. There are just a few more hobgoblins. And we are making our way. So I think that's going to end my commentary. I'll just let the gameplay volume take over for the last minute, and I hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching. And I will be back with more parts of my first playthrough tomorrow. Alright, see ya.
Shadow Fort. We're here.